Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cancer, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the devil card, right? So where is it that you are fixated on the way that something should be? What you're being asked to do this week, my dear Cancerians, sun, moon or ascendant, is to really think about where it is that you're being too rigid. It's also possibly a nod to some of you being tied to or caught up with that's what it feels like. It feels like you've got this really fixed idea of how something should be, and it's like if it's not like this, then it's broken. This is akin to what my friend Nico of Son of Celine talks about when he says, if you haven't seen him, please check him out. He's absolutely brilliant at what he does, and I really love that guy. But what he talks about is like when people hear one bad thing in the reading, they throw the whole thing in the trash, and it's like, well, what's the point in that? Take the good bits, the bits that are challenging or hard that you don't really resonate or like so much. Take the rough with the smooth. I kind of feel like this is you being really fixated though on something needs to be this way, and it's like this is the only way that it can be, and I kind of feel like you need more flexibility than that, right? This is, and it's funny because Cancer it's a cardinal sign, right? And which means there should be a level of adaptability there, you know, and especially because you're a water sign. But Cancer, you guys get fixated on stuff when you're ready. I know this, I have the moon in Cancer. I ain't even going to go into that stuff. But yeah, so I wonder here if you, if you in a sense have, just that. Think about what you're fixated on or what you're stuck with that you know you need to adjust your. It's like you need to see something more in widescreen than kind of, you know, like this. With that said, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and interactions, or your actions and options, should I say, this week, you have the Wheel of Fortune, right? So the one way that this pairing actually shows up as is a gambling addiction, right? So I'm gonna say this, the actions and options suggest that this week you're not relying on luck. But because the Devil card is Capricorn ruled and so therefore Saturn ruled, is this maybe that you're cutting off some of the, it's almost like you're cutting out the universal energy. And so you're saying, no, it has to be this way. And so you're creating a bottleneck, and the universe is saying, well, I'd like to bring you this, this, and this, and this stuff isn't going to fit in there. So, you know, what you're going to do. There's something about, and, you know, like I said, with the gambling addiction, I don't feel like this is that. I feel like this is an addiction to a pattern. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something that you're like, no, it has to be this way. And it really doesn't. And it's kind of like you're cutting off, and I read this in an article just recently from, I don't know if you know of Sphere and Sundry, my new obsession. Like at this point, I'm just like, take my bank card. I not long discovered them actually. I've known about Austin Coppock for a while, but I didn't realize that him and his wife have like a whole store and it's just full of the most marvelous creations. And now I'm like, that might be what this is. This is Raph like totally hooked on his new stuff. All jokes aside, you might be cutting off some of the psychic airflow. You might be cutting out the universal energies that want to bring you good things for the way that something has to be. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Lovers card, right? So this is really nice for communications, especially because the Lovers card is Gemini ruled. What I will say here as well, and you've got complementary elements going on here. So the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter, that's in the fire sector. You've got the Lovers, which is Gemini, which is in the air sector. So this is all working in your favor, Cancer. It might be a week where you're having to get out of your own way. With that communications card though, so I'm trying something new this week because a lot of people have been requesting it. For those of you that are students, for those of you that are doing some form of study, the Lovers card is basically saying, especially because it's underneath the Devil card, right? This could be where either socializing is getting in the way of the studies. It could just as easily be that you are, if you're in some form of study, maybe you're deferring to somebody else's way of doing something because you like their style and it's robbing you of your own, right? It's like you look at something or you read a part of someone else's essay and you're like, that's so good, like it sounds great. And that's wonderful, right? Praise somebody else for their work. But if you become another version of them, you're not being your authentic self, all right? And that's really, really important. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, I always frown on work-based relationships. I've seen them ruin lives so many times in my, when I was an employee many moons ago. At this point, thank you so much. And I've seen them ruin not just the people that were in that relationship's lives, but the people that were around them that had to work in or around that relationship as well. That being said, you've got the Devil card here. It could be this week that your relationship is pulling your mind out of work and it's having a detrimental effect on your delivery. Just give some consideration to that. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that work for themselves, one way that this might show up is this week you might just want to do more and more and more. And it's like, I'll just keep chucking stuff at it until one of these things works. Less really is more at times, and by adding and adding and adding, I feel like you're going to kind of end up with, it's like you're diluting something, right? When you add more water to the juice, it doesn't get juicier. It doesn't mean that you've got more juice. It means that you've got more water. Watery juice is not very nice. You catch my drift? For those of you that are retired and no longer working, that Wheel of Fortune suggests that, because you guys tend to be wiser than the rest of us, and you've seen a bit more, and you tend to have a bit more of a, okay, let me step back and observe this. And I kind of feel like that Wheel of Fortune energy is really allowing you to see where your own inner Rasputin or evil queen might be rearing their head. This is a fancy way of saying it might be you reasoning something out on the internal plane to say, okay, I see that. That's an aspect of self that I want to start to work on or with, or start to phase out. For your love and relations, you've got the Page of Swords. Page of Swords has been quite active this week, and Gemini season has come up twice in 2 separate readings. Gemini season is going to be very prominent for you. So as we come into, late May, anywhere from like the 23rd of May onwards, right through to around the 20th of June. That whole period, whatever's happening now, remember it, take mental snapshots, do some journaling, because the chances are it's going to be coming up again in Gemini season, especially when it comes to relationships, partnerships, or marriages. If you're in one of those long-term relationships, that Page of Swords suggests that something in the relationship is likely to be coming up again. So pay attention to what's happening now, because you'll know what will be coming up around in Gemini season. For those of you that are single, get out of your own way. It's good to have standards. It's good to have a framework, or at least a baseline of things that you can and can't have or accept or be with or whatever. But if it's so rigid and it only has to be this way, the universe might have thrown 10 people at you right by now, and they're sitting up there like, you know what, this chick or this dude, like like they're trying to send you someone and you're not seeing the potential in that person because they don't fit a specific mold that you're holding on to. For your money and materials, you've got the Magician card, right? Nice. Underneath the the Lovers card. So that's a lot of Mercury energy, right? You've got the Devil card mixed up in all of this. So I am going to say, when it comes to your money, your finances and your resources, don't convince yourself that the sky is falling this week, because if you do, you're going to manifest that, right? When it comes to finances, money, materials, this is about making more money or increasing your monies from the things that you love to do and the things that you want to do. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, for me, the Magician card is Mercury ruled. And so therefore, I would say this week, if you've got any challenges or issues, it's likely to be this. It's going to be the mind that gets the better of you. And then when it comes to your home and environment, this would be a really good week to do dedications, to bless the home, to, you know, anything where you're not even just enhancing the home, like anywhere where you're blessing the home, spiritualizing the home, maybe bringing items and things into the home that give it a more spiritual or weighted feel. This could be very, very lovely for you. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Oh, I almost forgot. Gosh, look at that. So your new moon, the new moon in the sign of Pisces, especially for those of you that are ascendant Cancerians, to a lesser degree, the sun and the moon. The Pisces new moon on the 2nd of March is taking place in your 9th house, right? Which is one of the reasons that I was obviously talking all about spirituality, interestingly enough, with the Magician card there, because the 9th house is a spiritual house. It is a very spiritual energy. This is how we connect to God, the universe, to deity, to whatever we perceive to be out there when we talk about something other or something different. The 9th house is where you find all of those things, and a new start, a fresh beginning, a new moon in that space means that this could be a time where you're starting to rededicate yourself to your spiritual path, practice or beliefs. But it could just as easily be a time where you're starting to think about moving abroad. You're starting to really tap into, because your 9th house is travel, it's adventure, and it's also a future facing house. So this could be you really starting to think about the long-term implications of your living situation. Am I going to live here? Is it going to be in this country? Is it going to be, you know, in this area? The other thing with the 9th house, because it's such a broad house as well, you get publishing in here. You presenting yourself to the world in some way, shape or form, gearing up to make that happen. So the new moon is going to initiate this energy for you, and then it will start to unpack until that Pisces full moon that will take place in September. Right, so this could be a really nice way to step into this energy. And the card that fell out is the Gate 37 and Sweetness. And I love this. There's a very specific reason that I love this, but I really love this. So this card is about family, and it's about the sweetness of connections that we have from or with family. But your family, as you know, Cancer, especially Cancerians and Aquarians, I think those two signs definitely know this. Your family is not always who you're born to. Sometimes it is your tribe. Sometimes it's the people that you choose to be a part of your world or your interactions and connections. And I really love this because it suggests that that new moon is going to start to connect you to people far and wide. This is really, in a way, you know, gearing you up to be more of a global citizen, whatever that might mean to you. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, and I'll see you soon.